Hi there, this is David, and today I want to introduce to you a new feature of CasaTunes that allows the user to manually trigger a page. So why would we use this? Recently we got a couple of requests from a couple of different customers at the same time, as a matter of fact, and what they wanted to do was they wanted to be able to add a microphone to one of our matrices and be able to use the paging functionality to use the microphone to speak throughout. In this case, it was two small businesses. So typically, the way we handled this in the past was we would use an external trigger, and that could have been either a CasaTunes trigger card or using a global cache product to generate and to capture an external trigger. So you had to generate that trigger. And as a result of that trigger, you could then have CasaTunes go into a paging mode where it would turn on all the zones that were enabled for paging and would switch the source to the paging source and then change the volume in each of the rooms that are part of the page to the paging volumes. So what we've done, instead of having to use hardware to trigger the page, we've introduced a manual paging capability where the user initiates the page and the user ends the page. So I'm going to show you how that's set up. It's very simple. It's going to be included in the next release of CasaTunes. So you can see here we have our All Rooms page, and if I now go to the settings and go to System Setup, this is also something that's part of the new release. You'll see that this is a lot of the same functionality that you had under Casa Setup. But one of the items here is page mute or chime. So we can select the page mute or chime. And again, we are going to do a manual page. So the first thing we have to do is we have to tell you what action we're going to take when we receive a trigger. In this case, it'll be a manual trigger. And so we go ahead and we'll set up the what to do on a trigger. And it's currently disabled, but we could either mute the rooms, page rooms, or play a specific chime. So we're going to actually go ahead and select page rooms. And now we have to select what source we want to use when a page occurs. And so all the rooms that participate in the page will switch this source. So we've set up a microphone on source 4, and so we're going to use the microphone. And that's all I have to do as far as setting up the page options. I do want to show you, while we're here, how a room participates in a page. So when we go into the rooms, and let's say we go into the kitchen, if we scroll down, we can see under the page settings, there is an option to basically enable this room to participate in a global page. So we need to make sure that every room that we want to participate in the page is checked. And then we can also specify what the volume level will be during the page. So that's where you see, that's where you can set up the rooms to be included in the page and what their volume level should be. So now let's go back to the All Rooms page. And now you'll see that when we tap on the More button, you'll see that there's an option to trigger a page. And when we select Start Page, it basically manually triggers the paging function. So all the rooms that are part of the page will turn on, switch to the microphone input, and set the volume levels as specified in the page volume levels for the room. To stop the page, simply press on the Stop Page button.